Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I want to show y'all how to make this very simplistic but fun little squiggly ring design using square copper wire from parawire.com. You could use whatever you like. All the tools and materials will be listed down below, so let's get started. The materials that I'm using in this tutorial are a metal ring mandrel, 18 gauge square wire, though you could also use round, flush cutters, bent nose pliers, round nose pliers, nylon jaw pliers, and a two-headed or dual head jeweler's hammer. It has a brass side and a nylon side. The wire that I use, I get from parawire.com. They have the most durable enamel plating of any wire I have ever used. So if you don't quite want to indulge in sterling silver or argentinium or just bare copper, I really recommend them. And their products can be found at parawire.com. And like I'd said, all of the tools and materials will be listed down below. And you only really need about 12 inches of this, of your wire. You could use more, but, 12 inches will get you where you're going, especially if it's your first time. And with the square wire, you could be very particular to have it be nice and flat and straight, but I'm actually going to go through and twist it. And so the way that I'm going to do that, let me clear off my work surface and zoom in for you so you can see what I'm doing. If you have like a little vise or something, that would be really handy, but instead I'm just going to grip the wire. You can see I like this square wire because it has such a nice flash to it. I'm gripping the wire at the far end with my pliers and then coming all the way to the other end, and you could use any other pliers that you have with a flat tip that would just kind of hold it well, and then I'm just twisting. So there we have one rotation, two rotations. Actually, I'm going to zoom back out because that kind of gives you a better idea. But yeah, I'm just gripping it and then twisting if I can. And I like to come all the way to the far end because I feel like I get a more equidistant twist than if I were gripping it up here and then twisting. There we go. And you can twist as frequently or as much or as little as you like. And I'm probably only going to do a couple more. So I'm actually loosening and rotating back around and then clamping down and then twisting. But you can see that gives it this really cool like flashing effect. So that's just something I wanted to show you guys because I think that is fun. So now I'm going to come in with our metal mandrel, and I'm going to make around a size 11.5, but just at the center of my wire, I'm just pressing it around the ring mandrel until I've done one full rotation around, and then around one more time still, so that it looks like this. And I really like this being an adjustable ring, so I'm not going to do any kind of binding or knot or anything here at this point. And we have a couple of options here. I gave us enough wire that you could come through and start doing a little spiral. The way that I did that is I pinned the wire with my finger, and then I grabbed the tail and then just kind of came around, and then I keep that rotation happening. There we are. And so get a little bit of a squiggle going there. Removing the mandrel. And then with my round nose pliers, grabbing the tip of the wire as close to the tip and as close to the tip of the pliers as possible. And then just doing a little spiral like this. A nice flat spiral. Then you can keep removing and replacing your pliers as necessary. Then once I get down about this far, I like to use my nylon jaw pliers to grip it. It's like I grip and then pull it around. so that way it deepens the little spiral. And I really like this design because you can get very organic and creative with it and just, you know, have it look however you want it to look. And so now from here, I may actually just trim some off. Or we could do little squiggle loops, which that would look like gripping it round about here, bending it all the way around and over, and then gripping it about here and bending it, well, there we go, all the way around and over, and then gripping it here and bending it all the way around and over, and then gripping it here and bending it all the way around and over. So that's very loose, but now we get to come in and just place our pliers and squeeze these ends down a little tighter. And if it's not level, see how that's all kind of wonky? Just get in there and swoosh, bring it down, and then just squeeze those together. See how that kind of comes out? And again, I'm showing you a bunch of different techniques, and this one's kind of a sampler, but you could do, I mean, just a bare spiral. You could skip this step, you could skip this step, and just have it be a very simple little loop at either end. But I just wanted to show, you know, what we could choose from. Now, I am going to trim about 1 inch, which is from that crease on my finger to the tip is about 1 inch off. And again, grabbing the wire as close to the tip as I can, and as close to the tip of the pliers as I can. And then coming around into a nice tight spiral. And there we go. Now from here, you could leave it just as is. You could smush it with your pliers a bit. Or, what I like to do, thread it back onto my ring mandrel, and I don't want to overextend it too much, but I'm going to use the nylon head first, and I'm going to just start hammering. Now be careful because your ring will want to like kind of spread out as you do this. And now I'm going to pull it off and do it on the other end. And from here you can actually take and texture it with the brass head. Again, that's only if you want to. I don't want to hammer too much where the wires cross over each other because that can make a pinch point that will be prone to breaking in the future, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, now also you can see these guys here and here, they don't want to lay flat, so what we can do is get in there with our round nose pliers and kind of just gripping and then bracing the rest of it with our thumb. We can force just a little bit of a bend in there, just a wee bitty curve. Just like that, and that will help it so much in hugging around the round shape of our finger. And what's great about this one being adjustable is you can kind of torque it in just a little bit, and if they don't line up anymore, then we can take this spirally part and bring it in. Hammering makes it quite a bit difficult to work with. There we go. So if you're making these for sale out of your booth, you could wait to hammer it until the person who wants to take it home forever purchases it. So there we are. And then also if you're like, man, I really just don't like this part up here or this part down here, it's never too late to take your wire, take your pliers, open it up a bit, and snip. And I'm going to open this up just a little bit more. On a ring like this, a project like this, where you're not using a ton of materials and it's not particularly expensive, it's a perfect time to test the limits of your wire. Because if it broke right now, well, it's alright, you know. It's not like I spent 6 hours on it and, you know, and it's pure like gold or something, you know. And we can just kind of bend it around like that. And again, it's going to take a little bit of more forming. So here come the nylon jaw pliers. And you can take it and bend it a little bit deeper still. Thread it back onto the mandrel, and you can even hammer it more. And this is what I really like about the Parawire, is it really holds up to some abuse. There we go. And so now, I think, for my personal taste, I like that much better. So there we go. That is how we make this very simplistic, but highly adjustable and very fun ring. Hey y'all, thanks so much for hanging out with me during this tutorial. I really hope that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave them down below. And then also, if you would like to share pictures of what you make or tag me on Instagram, you can tag me on Instagram, or post pictures to my Facebook wall. There are links to both of those down below. And then also, you can post pictures to my Patreon. You don't even have to be a pledger, but I definitely I get them a little better on Patreon than I do the other sites, because it's very focused on Patreon, so I don't get as distracted by like cat videos and stuff when I'm trying to check my messages. But yeah, speaking of Patreon too, if you enjoy my free daily tutorials and would like to support the creation of more of them, as well as participate in my weekly art giveaways, as well as my monthly craft crates and the digital download content, as well as whatever else we come up with around here, please consider becoming a patron. Pledges start at just $1, and every little bit goes so far in helping to keep this ball rolling so that we can keep bouncing ideas off of each other and getting our craft on. So thank you guys again for hanging out with me. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.